Hi, my name is Sam Long, and I want to be the first out astronaut. I am a queer transgender man. I use he, him pronouns, and I teach high school science in Denver, Colorado. As a teacher, one of the big challenges is getting students to see themselves as scientists. If you are a person of color, a woman, or LGBTQ, you don't see a lot of famous scientists that look like you, and you might not think that science is for you. A lot of my work addresses that. I brought students to the Women in STEM conference at Metro State University in Denver to interact with adults and talk about the barriers faced by women scientists. We went to a cadaver lab, which I wish I could show you pictures of, but we got to see and touch every bone, tissue, and organ in the human body. And I was lucky enough to get that trip fully funded by fundraising so that any interested student could go. In my classroom, we do a lot of inquiry. We figured out what motivates the behavior of a teeny tiny termite. We measured different pathogens and how they grow on personal items, like our cell phones. And we observed how animal morphology has evolved from shark to pig to human. I include LGBTQ identities in my classroom by using inclusive language when we talk about genetics or reproduction, and talking about the complexities of biological sex, especially the fact that sex is not the same as gender. I've even started to train other teachers on how to do this unique equity work that comes up in science, especially biology classes. Outside of teaching science, I sponsor our GSA, the Gay Straight Alliance Club, which has opportunities for students to both socialize and engage in activism. Here, we went to the Colorado State Capitol to meet our legislators. We met with Representatives Alex Valdez and Julie Gonzalez. My students didn't know how laws are made. They learned that process here at the Capitol, and they talked to our representatives about why they should support LGBTQ inclusive bills. This work is near and dear to me because about 12 years ago, I was a newly out transgender high school student, and my school wasn't supportive, neither were my parents. I had nobody in my corner. After I graduated, I sued my school district for discrimination, and as part of the settlement, I was allowed to take part in the writing of their first ever policy in the district for how to support transgender students and staff. And I tell every one of my students, you gotta get involved in whatever you believe in, because if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. Science has always guided my life. At the time I was born, my parents were biochemistry grad students here in the United States. They were visa students from China. I am an American, and I live the life I live because of science. My grandma was a soil scientist at an agricultural university in China, and so I guess that makes me a third-generation scientist. Here in Denver, I have a lot of opportunities to engage in space science. The Denver Museum of Nature and Science has a space news talk that I look forward to every month called 60 Minutes in Space. Up in Boulder, NCAR, the National Center for Atmospheric Research, also has excellent public lectures. I have a telescope, and it's pretty easy to see the moon and some of the brightest stars here in the city, but my favorite stargazing spot is Guanella Pass, which is just an hour west of here into the mountains. Besides science, the other big thing in my life is music. For me and for many other queer and trans youth, high school really sucked, but the best part of high school was playing in the band. I played electric bass in the jazz band, and that dusty music room was the one place in the whole school where I could go and people would call me by my name, people would know me and value me. Today I play with two groups, the Mile High Freedom Band, which has a wind band and a marching band, and a little group I started with my friends Joel and Miles. We're called TBD, which stands for Trans Boys of Denver. I sing for my students too. I'll rewrite the lyrics of popular songs to help them remember a science topic. Like when we're doing Punnett Squares, with the big bees and the little bees, figuring out people's eye color, you gotta play Brown Eyed Girl, Van Morrison. The Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield was known for bringing his guitar to the International Space Station, and I might do the same. Or I might bring a ukulele, just because it weighs less. Hadfield's mission patch was in the shape of a guitar pick, but mine will definitely feature the transgender symbol or colors in some way. I'm on a mission to be the first transgender astronaut. And for the past 2 years, I've been working on meeting the physical requirements, including weight training and learning to swim. Like a lot of trans people, I have a pretty complicated relationship with my body, and I was especially anxious about learning to swim. I had been avoiding it my whole life. But hey, I gotta do what I gotta do. I'm gonna show the world and our youth that trans people can be extraordinary people.